Wind races through the high mountain peaks, dragging thin streams of sand across the ridges. The air trembles not from thunder, but from something heavier, older. A pulse spreads through the stone like a heartbeat buried under centuries of dust, a low seismic hum that signals an awakening. From the upper cliffs, the deep forest boundaries ripple violently. Birds erupt into the sky in a panicked cloud. Trees quake, shedding leaves in drifting spirals as the ground beneath them shudders. A presence of impossible scale is moving, a force of nature unto itself. Fang-Maw Gargantua steps out from the forest edge, its massive reptilian frame bending the roots beneath it. Its layered razor-scale armor, a tapestry of hardened plates, clinks together like metal under immense tension. Each step is a cataclysm, cracking the earth and sending microshocks across the sandy slopes. Its enormous mouth remains closed, but through its armored lips, multiple rows of faint glowing fang structures can be seen, pulsing like molten embers waiting for the breath to unleash a seismic roar. The Titan is a walking mountain of primal dominance, its very existence a challenge to the world. High above on a different jagged peak, the Shadowhorn Juggernaut watches. It is a mountain-sized silhouette of obsidian black armor and twin curved horns that glow with an ethereal shadow energy. Hollow runes run across its colossal chest, flickering faintly like dying stars against a void. The mountain's wind, heavy with dust and grit, bends around its immense form, carrying sand in spiraling currents that fail to touch its armored hide. It is an ancient force, a monolith of silent power. The Juggernaut lowers its head, a deliberate, weighty movement. A ripple of shadow energy drips off the ends of its horns, curling like smoke into the thin, cold air. It is not an attack, but a declaration. A signal sent across the wind-heavy peak zones. The world pauses, caught in the silent tension between two apex titans. Then the mountains themselves seem to breathe, as if acknowledging the clash of ancient forces about to unfold. The air grows thick, charged with an energy that promises mountain peak destruction and forest tremors. Fang-Maw Gargantua climbs higher into the ridge zone, its talons carving deep trenches in the sand and stone. Its back scales open slightly, releasing that low seismic hum as it ascends, a sound that vibrates through the very core of the peak. Its gaze is fixed on the dark silhouette above, a rival that has answered its unspoken challenge for survival. The first move is a symphony of devastation. The Shadowhorn Juggernaut, without a sound, leaps from his perch. It is less a jump and more a controlled fall, a descending meteor of obsidian and shadow. It charges downward, its horn tips tearing through the air, aimed directly at the ascending Gargantua. Fang-Maw Gargantua meets the charge head-on. It rears back, its throat swelling as the glowing fangs within its mouth blaze with intensity. A shockwave snarl erupts, a visible distortion of air that slams into the mountainside, shattering rock and creating a dust explosion that momentarily obscures the sky. The sound is a physical blow, a ground-rupturing force that sends boulders cascading down the slopes. The first massive clash is a cataclysm. The Juggernaut's Shadowhorn charge impacts Fang-Maw's armored flank. The collision is deafening, a sound of grinding mountains. The razor scales hold, but the impact sends the Gargantua sliding, its talons gouging 100-foot furrows into the peak. The Juggernaut's momentum is bent, but it follows through with a weighty horn swing, a crescent of shadow energy arcing through the air. Fang-Maw ducks under the swing, its own body a weapon. It lunges forward, a heavy stump cracking the ridge beneath them. A fissure opens, splitting the peak as the two titans brawl on the unstable precipice. The mountain groans, a deep, resonant protest against the battle tearing it apart. Dust storms swirl around them, a maelstrom of broken rock and atmospheric haze. Harsh mountain sunlight cuts through the chaos, glinting off Fang-Maw's scales and being swallowed by the Juggernaut's obsidian armor, creating a stark contrast of light and shadow. The mid-fight peak destruction is absolute. The Juggernaut, with a cliff-smashing impact, drives its horns into the rock face, prying a massive section loose. The entire ledge where they stand begins to collapse. Tons of rock and sand slide away, forcing both titans into a desperate, chaotic descent toward the forest boundary below. They tumble amid an avalanche of their own making, a storm of debris and raw power. They land in the forest edge with the force of an asteroid. Trees snap like twigs, the soil erupts, and branches scatter like shrapnel. The forest tremors are felt for miles. Here, in the tighter confines of the forest boundary, the fight changes. The Juggernaut's wide swings are hampered by the dense trunks, while Fang-Maw's more compact scale armored lunges become brutally effective. It slams its body into the Juggernaut, the clinking of its scales a percussive rhythm of destruction. But the Shadowhorn Juggernaut is a creature of raw force. It adapts, using its immense strength to simply tear through the environment. It rips ancient trees from the earth, roots and all, swinging them like clubs. One such blow catches Fang-Maw across the side, sending it crashing through a grove of pines. The Juggernaut presses its advantage, preparing for another shadow burst impact wave. The hollow runes on its chest flare, gathering dark energy. Just as the wave is about to be unleashed, Fang-Maw recovers. It opens its mouth wide, wider than seemed possible. The glowing fang structures ignite, and a full-throated wide-mouthed shockwave roar blasts forth. It's not just sound. It's pure kinetic force. The roar atomizes the trees in its path, shreds the ground, and slams into the Juggernaut, staggering the colossal titan. The gathered shadow energy dissipates, its concentration broken. The battle shifts again, a high-altitude showdown born from the wreckage. Fueled by primal rage, Fang-Maw Gargantua scrambles back up the debris-strewn slope, seeking the open ground of the peaks. The Juggernaut, recovering its balance, follows, its shadow-glowing horns leaving trails of dark energy in the golden hour light. The sun is setting, casting long, dramatic shadows that stretch across the shattered landscape. Silhouette transitions mark their ascent, two dark shapes against a burning sky. They meet on the highest, most jagged peak, a spire of rock that has somehow survived the carnage. The wind howls, a mournful song for the broken mountains. Below them, the forest is a ruin, and the ridges are scarred and fractured. This is the final stage, a contest of endurance and wild, primal dominance. The Juggernaut initiates its final, most aggressive Shadowhorn charge. It barrels forward, a being of pure momentum and dark power, the air crackling around its horns. Fang-Maw doesn't meet it with a roar. It stands its ground, planting its feet. Its razor scales shift and lock into place. It lowers its head, presenting a solid wall of armor. The impact is the loudest yet, a sound that seems to crack the sky itself. The Juggernaut's horns strike the Gargantua's layered scales. Sparks fly, not of metal, but of raw energy and fractured stone. For a moment, they are locked in a struggle of titanic wills. The peak beneath them shatters completely, but they remain locked, falling only slightly before their sheer power holds them in place on the disintegrating precipice. Then, with a final desperate surge, Fang-Maw pushes back. Its immense strength, honed by survival, finds a new reserve. The scales on its shoulders flare, grinding against the Juggernaut's horns. A sickening crack echoes, not of rock, but of the Juggernaut's obsidian armor. A fissure appears on one of its horns, the shadow glow flickers. The Shadowhorn Juggernaut stumbles back, its charge broken, its weapon compromised. It looks at its damaged horn, then at the battered but unyielding Fang-Maw Gargantua. The hollow runes on its chest dim, their light fading like dying embers. There is no roar of defeat, no cry of pain. There is only a silent acknowledgement. As dusk finally falls, casting the world in shades of purple and deep blue, the Shadowhorn Juggernaut turns. It moves with a heavy, weary gait, retreating into the falling dusk shadows, a colossal silhouette vanishing into the encroaching night. Fang-Maw Gargantua stands atop the cracked peak, battered, but victorious. Its scales are chipped, its body bruised, but it is the apex. It lifts its head and lets out a low rumbling growl, not of aggression, but of declaration. A sound that rolls across the broken peaks, claiming the domain as its own. The wind carries the sound, a final, definitive statement in the quiet aftermath of a war between titans.